Greetings, everyone. Hi, it's me, Ms.Blue, the Oracle. Now, as you know, we are about to dive into Planet Remix. And as we get ready to get into the cipher, I do want to let you know that it is Planet Remix, and a lot of times we cover adult content. So at this time, if you have anyone who's a minor, I would suggest that you put your headset on or get yourself in a place where you can enjoy your time on Planet Remix. But until then, put the babies out, do what you need to do so we can be responsible while knowing our magic. This show, this information, we dive into a lot of things that are adult content. And so therefore, if you are a minor, I want you to stop what you're doing right now. And I definitely want you to get your parent or your guardian's consent before diving into the remix. Well, enjoy. Enjoy the share. Yeah, and keep knowing your magic. We just gotta be responsible while growing up on planet Earth. Peace and greetings, Soul Family. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome on in to Planet Remix Radio. I am Ms.Blue, the Soulful Oracle. Oh my goodness, I want to welcome you all in. Wow, it's Friday night. We are on the eve, and for some of us, we are into the fall, the spring. We are into the equinox. So how are you feeling? How's everybody doing? Welcome in. It's been a day. It's been a day. What can I say? Peace and greetings. I want to do a sound check and make sure you all can hear me nice and loud and clear. And making sure that you can hear me in the blue room as well as also on the phone lines as well. By the way, I want to let you all know that the blue room is open. I'm going to give you those cosmic directions so you can find your way on over and join us in the blue room. Yeah. Thanks for that sound check there, Priestess Erica. Thank you. Thank you for everyone for the sound check. So yeah, I want us to take a few moments. I'm just kind of warming up the mic a little bit here and getting ready to dive in. I'm going to be taking your calls tonight. I didn't get a chance to do that for those of you who heard the broadcast last night, but I will be taking your calls tonight. We got a couple of announcements, some things I want to talk about, and then I'm going to go straight to the phone lines. But I want you all to know, thank you for telling me I sound great. I want you all to know that I am very sensitive to frequencies. And honestly, I have yet to get my voice to sound like what it sounds like in real life. For me. And every time I go back and I hear it, I just cringe. So I'm always messing with trying to get the audio as clear as possible. For those of you who've been with me for a very long time, you know that that was a sort of an Achilles heel for me. You know, that was kind of a soft spot that I just could not get the audio right until I found out that it was due to the harmonics and the frequencies in my voice. And so sometimes those frequencies come across and they are powerful when it comes to healing and when I'm speaking messages and sending out things and sort of opening up the energy, raising the frequencies and vibrations, and even transmuting energy in the atmosphere. And when I'm working with a lot of you, working with clients one-on-one, powerful in that realm. When I come back and I listen, I'm like, who is that? Why does it sound like that? So, I've been doing a little tinkering around over here. After all, we have so many fairy portals that are opening up at this time. Matter of fact, we have so many portals opening up on the planet right now. And so we're going to talk about we're going to talk about that a little bit. We may touch on it tonight because I'm sure a lot of you have been emailing me, and yes, yes, yes. I am behind on my emails and I'm working on that. I am working on it. But I get hundreds of emails a day. And sometimes things can get lost in the sauce. But this is where I want you all to also help me with your magic. Because when you put your sort of little magic on there, those emails sort of kind of pop up when we're going through. So I try to kind of go, I treat it in the same way that we understand our different dimensions of reality. Past, present, and future is all happening at the same time. So I answer a couple of emails from the past. I answer some from the present. I even get some of your emails from the future. Yeah, and I answer them. So still working on them. So I thank you all for your patience. But welcome on in. Welcome on in. I do want to give out the call-in number. We got a lot of new family members listening in. Welcome to the community. Welcome to Planet Remix Radio. We're so glad to have you. So whether this is your first time or you've been listening for a very, very long time, just welcome. Welcome on in. Just come in. So call-in number 515-605-9794 is the number to call. Lock that in. 515-605-9794 is the number to call. That's going to get you locked in. Now, I will say this because we will be taking calls a little later in the share tonight. Press 1 once you get on the phone lines if you would like to speak with me. And then we're just going to kind of allow spirit to do its thing. Allow spirit to do its thing and to answer the call. Answer your call, you know? It's a great time to call on your angels and the ancestors. And if you really need to get on the phone line, you ask yourself to be called to come up front, you know? And many times you guys tell me that. And also trust that if I do not get to your call, because I don't know, some of you are feeling some kind of way because I haven't been able to you've been on the call line. Sometimes you hear people, they say they've been calling in for years and finally that time they get in. I want us all to trust in that divine timing as well too, to know that you will get through when you need to get through. Yeah. So that's the call-in number. Now, our international callers who are out there want to welcome you on in as well, and also invite you to call in also. It's a couple of ways that you can actually do that. One, you can come over to blogtalkradio.com/the remix, and when the broadcast is live, you will be able to connect via the internet to chime in. And I will see you there. And yeah, you can use that if you're in the States as well too. But definitely we want to have that option available for so many of our international family members around the world. I don't say that too often, but I want to put that out there. We're going to do shots out in a minute because I see many of our international family members in the building here. So good morning, good night, good afternoon, good evening, no matter what part of the world you're in. We want to welcome the seen and the unseen. Oh, yes, we see you too. Welcome on in to the building. Come on in. The Blue Room is open. Here are the cosmic directions. Mm, mm, mm. Hmm. Um, yeah, I don't know what that means.
I'm getting some error messages. Not anything you all need to worry about, probably something I need to worry about on my end. And as long as you all can see as everything is going correctly, we can just keep it moving here. But yeah, so let me give you those cosmic directions so you can find your way on over. You're going to come on over to YouTube and then you're going to type in Blue, Blue. And then you're going to type in Raz, Ras, and then Berry, Berry. And then that is going to get you locked in. Soul Family is in the building. They are sure to make you feel welcome and definitely, oh my goodness, right at home. Right at home. Let's give a big shout out for the moderators in the building tonight. Give a big shout out to Mr. Dante in the building moderating for us in the Blue Room. Big shout out to Lola Falana moderating for us in the Blue Room. And a big shout out to Brother Lance in the building moderating for us. So the moderators are there. They're just going to keep it nice, clean, sexy, and smooth. If you have any questions, they also are there to assist you, along with all the other stars that are in the building. We're going to be giving shouts out to all the stars in the building as well. One of the things that I'm going to ask that you do if you are in the Blue Room, I'm going to ask that you get those likes up. Because by putting those likes up, that's going to send a message out. You know, it's kind of like a call and response. We're going to send a message out so that we can send that call and response out so we can let the Soul Family know that we are live. We are actually live right here on Planet Remix and they can come on in. And also, if you haven't subscribed, if you find this great value and this is the kind of work you want to see out in the world, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Because right now our algorithm shows that like almost 80% of the people who listen, I'm talking about from start to finish, like 1 hour to 3 hours in, are listening. They're taking all this juiciness, this goodness in, but you're not subscribed to the channel. So I want to encourage us to be intentional to do that, as well as wherever you're listening. If you are listening now in this present moment, welcome and thank you. If you have returned from the past and joined us at this current time, we welcome you on in, or even if you have come from the future and traveled back to the time such as now, and you're listening to this as a podcast, that you also rate and you also, leave a comment about your listening experience, some of your takeaways, to put those things out there. I don't know why that's so hard for us to do. I don't know why it's so hard for us to do. I was listening to a talk. I'm not going to go into it, but I was listening to a talk and they were talking really about some of the psychosis that come from trauma, that come from pain, and about a lot of our cultures and civilizations around the world that have experienced a lot of culture pain, whether it's been directly or in your ancestral line, that they say it's very hard for that culture to be able to see joy within the culture, to see unity within the culture, to see support within the culture. And even though I know that that's not true or have been the case for us here on Planet Remix, you all let me know what you feel about that. That sometimes these things of joy, when we see it within our own culture, sometimes this thing of something as simple as giving us support to something that has been helpful for us, because they specifically said when something has been helpful or something has been a resource, they tend to shy away. I don't know how I feel about that statement, but in the comments after the show, I would love for you all to sort of chime in on that, and we can have that discussion, especially here on in the Blue Room on YouTube. We can kind of have that discussion there. But I wanted to just kind of put that question out there because it, it was just one of those things I wanted to share with you. Mm-hmm. So, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How we feeling though? How is everyone feeling? We are about to cross into the equinox. And that's another thing. What does that really mean to you guys? I know for those of you who have studied, you've taken classes, you've been a part of Self-Invested, you've been a part of the priestesshood, you've taken the workshops from us, you may have a different understanding, but how does it make you feel crossing into this energy of the equinox? And so I'm seeing a lot of things, and a lot of people are saying this because we are in the moment of a reset. I kind of feel a reset that's there. Mm-hmm. Lola says, I'm feeling sleepy and tired. Okay, I can certainly understand that. Cosmic Ray says, at this point, I don't even know anymore. Karmic Evolution says, I'm feeling amazing. Okay, I love that. And I think y'all are still answering some of the older questions, but the other question I had, Ashley77 said, just another day in the hood for her. Just another day in the hood. Okay. I feel you on that. Yaya says, a shift. Uh-huh. And Go Browns girl, very interesting. I had to go into a collaboration with some other spiritual workers about that exact thing, and I gave my takes on it. Yikes, we'll talk about that. But Go Browns girl says, babe, I'm under attack. I would love for you to get on the phone so we could talk about that. That's going to be some good shit right there. Did we play the PSA? Because I think we did. Uh-huh. Priestess Jasmine says, it's a lot. Yeah. A lot of frequencies, a lot of things going on. Davina says, needed rest. Lots and lots of sleep is needed. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mega Miss Little says, I look for joy on purpose. Sound off to that. And Deborah Rose says, wow, like the show from here. I'm not sure. I have to get back to that. Priestess Donna Lee says, feeling creative and open to receive. I definitely love that. Cheryl O says, definitely a shift and a reset is happening at this time. Uh-huh. And Pumpus Light says, I'm just the ladder down to take a nap. And as soon as my head hit the pillow, I got a text and we live. I know that's right. Ooh, feeling your heart racing. I'm looking at you all coming in and how you're really seeing this. Yeah. How you're really seeing this, the rebirth. I see a lot of these different terms and things that are happening. We got a full moon coming up, a full moon in Aries that's coming up. Full moon in Aries that's going to be happening on the 28th. Around the time of my brother's birthday. Priestess Nadra says, let's get the love likes up. Yeah, let's get the love likes up. Yeah. Okay. Well, I just kind of wanted to chime in because we do have the equinox happening. I do want to talk about some of the things that's going to be pressing front and center. That's going to be going down tomorrow. In fact, after I get off the live with you all, I'm actually going to be getting things ready for tomorrow. Because for those of you who have the Galactic E-Files Volume 4, the Master Student, we're going to be doing our live monthly call. Now, I've gotten some emails that came in just before coming on that asked, um, will um, will I leave it open until tomorrow? So the call is going to be tomorrow afternoon, evening. I'm going to give you the time a little bit here. That we're going to be doing the call. We're going to hop on the call. I'm going to share some information, some channeled information. So if you secured your seats and you have the Galactic E-Files Volume 4 for the month, well, I don't even know if I say the month, but the Volume 4 for Volume 4 of the Galactic E-Files, the Master Student, we're going to be covering that. I'm going to be diving into that, sharing with you some insights, messages, downloads, some upgrades that have come in, and talking about the information, as well as sharing some information about Pegasus, the flying horse. You know who Pegasus is, right? We're going to be talking about that energy as well. We're going to be talking about that. It's going to be really, really good, and some great gems to be able to take away as well. I also want to let you know that we have come into another season. I know the equinox, and depending on what hemisphere you are, we are changing seasons. We we doing all of that. But also, we're going to be moving into another season because this is officially kicking off what we know as self-invested season. Now, of course, if you didn't hear the talk that I did yesterday, I would encourage you to go back and download, because we're doing self-invested a little different this year. And so we will be breaking the classes up. That way, it's going to give more people an opportunity to join self-invested. Typically, for the last decade or so, we've ran self-invested. You know, once you enroll in self-invested, you stay with self-invested, and that work is going to continue all the way until the following year. But we're not doing that this year. So it's going to be a definite upgrade, a definite shift, definite change in how self-invested is being done. So the first course that is being offered at this time is a I can't even talk, 8-week course. And the 8-week course is the Radiate from Within, your guide to chakra mastery. Listen at me. First of all, let me do this. First, I want to ring the bell for self-invested. I want to ring the bell for self-invested. I take it you all can still hear me. Like, my computer is doing something so magical, because that's what I'm going to call it right now until it becomes something else. But it is doing something so magical. And I'm going to allow it to be magical at this point. So did you all hear me ring the bell? Did y'all hear that ring the bell for self-invested? I don't even know. Yeah. There you go. You heard the ring the bell. Okay, so that's for everyone who is self-invested and for everyone who is embarking on this journey of radiate from within. You know, your guide to chakra mastery. This is a 8-week course. We will be getting together. We will be working together, and I will be guiding you. And we're going to come into this work as students, but it's going to be very interactive, and I'm going to be sharing some things with you for just that, so that you can have chakra mastery. You can understand the chakras, and probably a way you might have heard me touch on, but never sort of unveiled the process of being able to work with your chakras, read your energy, read others' energy like ever before. I'm putting it all on the table and giving it to you. given it to you. Because going forward, and when I say going forward, I'm not just talking about us going forward. See, I know that all of you are highly evolved beings here on the planet. And if you're listening to me, if you're here listening to Planet Remix and you indulge in work such as this, then you have been a part of the evolution of planet Earth for many lifetimes. And there's chances that many of you have been spiritual teachers and leaders, and you have worked in the healing arts, and you've worked with all of these sciences of these psychic abilities and these energetic understandings and these light codes and all of this information before in other lifetimes, even on other planets and in other dimensions. And so here, this is about the remembrance of this information to come online for you. But going forward, a couple of years ago, I told you that, it's a couple of things that we had to get a handle on planet Earth. Because our planet, we are not in the same location we were 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, 30 years ago. I talked about this. We are moving very fast through the photon belt. We are traveling at rapid speed through the Milky Way galaxy and the cosmos. There have even been times that we have even slipped out of our galaxy. And lots of strange occurrences have been happening in our world. But that's a whole nother other. But just to kind of keep it copacetic right here, I want you to understand that we are not in the same formation that we learned when we were in 5th grade and 6th grade when they said, this is Earth, here is Jupiter, here is Mars, here is Venus, and here is the sun, and this is where our moon is. I do not subscribe, and from what my guides have shown me and from where I have traveled, that we are in that same formation. But it is time to get in formation because we have elevated on the planet. And this is due to a lot of reincarnation. For those of you who subscribe to reincarnation, for those of you subscribe to the lineage of what we call our ancestors or the lineage of planet Earth. And after lifetime and lifetime after beings and beings have come down here, after souls have lived here, learned here, worked here, studied here, all of these things that have happened, we have elevated ourselves. Now, don't get carried away. We have not come out of the thralls deep within this dimension yet. See, the purpose is never, like I told you, to ascend. We are not ascending out of here, but Earth is ascending, but you are not on a ascension journey, but you are helping the planet with ascension. Because the more of us that raise our frequency and our consciousness, speak to me, because this has got to be the equinox energy coming in live. Thank you for that, Geo. But the more of us that we do this, we are elevating the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. So really what we're feeling, and I get it, for some of us, it feels like hell. It literally feels like hell. And I also get it. Because for many of us, we understand that we are really walking into that space of nirvana. And these both exist here. And how they can exist here is because we have raised our frequencies from being so thick and being so dense. Think about your grandparents' generation. I even heard my father say glimpses of it and my mother growing up. And their generation is the generation that felt like you must work hard for what you want. You got to put that work in, and it must not just be you putting work in, it must be hard work. It must be back breaking work. See, these are the generations and the souls who built this planet as we know it. And it is because of their hard work. It is because of their grit and their grind of these baby boomers and their work that we have been able to elevate our consciousness to becoming the generation that came after that, which was Generation X. And then Generation X gave birth to the next generation, the millennials, and then the Gen Zs, and so on and so on. And then in the midst of all of this elevation and these spiritual insights, we had origin children, we had the crystal children, we had the rainbow children. And you guys know when I came on the scene, I shared with you about the origin children. And many of you are the origin children that are here. And you sort of encompass and take a little bit of all of the good and the high frequencies from those generations and your past lives coming in now. And so what we have here on the planet at this time is Earth has been a place of manifestation. Think about the last 7 years and think about how many times you've heard that word manifest. Everyone wants to manifest. Everyone wants to manifest. Everyone wants to manifest their life. They want to understand the laws of manifestation. They want to understand how to manifest. And that's what we've been doing. We've been manifesting. So your mood, your energy, your thoughts, your actions, your deeds, your connections, your Instagram posts, your Facebook messages, your text messages, your Spotify playlist, your Apple playlist, your YouTube algorithm, your likes, your subscribes, your comments, your emails, the food that you eat, all pulls in to your manifestation timeline. This is how you're manifesting what it is you are creating on the planet. So this is how you determine, am I living in hell or am I living in heaven? And all of this is due to Earth now has become a vibration. I want you to just imagine frequencies just shooting out of instant manifestation. See, it's not instant to you because it almost works like G-force. And if you know how G-force go and you moving so fast, but it takes the body, it takes the physical time to catch up. And so I have that thought. Life is a piece of shit. People just keep using people. People just keep hurting people. And that G-force has scooped that up. And this becomes a part of what gets sent back to you. Remember, and for those of you who were in self-invested last year and prior years, we've covered this in depth, but I'll go ahead and say it here because we've talked about it on Planet Remix and and all the workshops as well too. And that is, how can I say this? I want to choose my words carefully, but I want it to flow. I want you to think of it this way. The universe doesn't judge. It's just particles. And you're the magnet. There used to be a game called Etch-a-Sketch. And Etch-a-Sketch really worked off of magnets. You draw a line, the little particles would suck itself over to that line and it would make a line. The universe is not thinking that you're thinking this thought and you don't really want that shit to happen. It thinks that this is what you want because energy goes where thought flows. It does. And sometimes we are slow motion with it. We are so slow motion with it. See, this is why we don't believe energy goes where thought flows, because we so slow motion with it. By the time that shit catches up with us, it done been about 6 months, 8 months, a year, depending on where our consciousness is and depending on how slow motion we are with it, that we forget that the person who put this shit in motion was you. But you thought it didn't mean nothing. You thought it was just an Instagram post. You thought you were just having a bad day. And by the way, I'm not saying you can't have a bad day. You thought you were just upset for the moment. You thought that person deserved to get that energy. You thought that was supposed to happen. Now, maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes later, you no longer felt that way. But now we got to wait 30 days, 60 days, 40 days, 50 days, 100 days for that other thought to catch back up to you. But what if, and I'm just throwing this out there, what if you became conscious of that? See, that's, we talk about that word consciousness, but are we really being conscious? Or do we float in and out of consciousness when it's convenient? It's kind of like I go to church on Sunday and I do what the hell I want Monday through Saturday. But none of that goes away. But that energy is becoming stronger. And the beauty is you get to be, you get to do, you get to live how you choose to live for you. And as we continue to evolve, the responsibility for your energy, the responsibility for your emotion, the responsibility for you has totally been placed on you. You cannot pass it on to anyone or anything. You cannot. You cannot. And even for those things that have gripped our souls at a very young age when we didn't have the understanding, it doesn't make any of that right. I'm not going to tell you that spirituality means you are supposed to suffer, you are supposed to be in trauma, and that you are subjective to being abused and being hurt, and all of that abuse is later going to blossom into something beautiful and something incredible, and you will look back and smile and say it was worth it. Because that's not always the case. But I can tell you this, that once you get into the position, and I'm going to say this for those that are young and those that are growing and those that are mature. But once you get into the position where you can say, I am conscious of what I'm choosing for me, not what was chosen for me yesterday, not what was chosen for me 30 years ago, not what was chosen for me 50 years ago, but what was chosen for me today. I am conscious of what I choose. I choose love today. I choose love. I choose to love who I am. I choose to love my life. I choose to create the life that I know that my love deserves. Once you are conscious, you can change everything. Not anything. You can't change anything, but you can change everything. Everything can change, and it doesn't have to take 9 years, 20 years, 30 years, 60 years, 50 years. It can change in an instant, but it takes something. You have to be open and willing. Notice there is will, as in free will, and willing to receive that this is the miracle and the magic that is possible for you. And then you can't stop there. Can't stop, won't stop, don't stop. You can't stop there. Once I got this, I gave it all I got. You have to be committed to loving you every single day for the rest of your life. I'm going to say that sign, and many of you remember, weeks before Twitter changed to X, I talked about what X meant. You are X. When you're learning math, when you're learning algebra, when you're learning about these higher sciences, calculus, and you see the X, you are X, and you can never leave you out of the equation. That's the X. It's unknown because it's up to you. It's unknown because no one can tell you that. No one can predict that for you. No one is responsible for what X means but you. So therefore, it is always going to be a mystery. It is always going to be mystical. It is always going to be magical. It is always going to be the invisible force. It is always going to be the unknown. It is always going to be the void. It is always going to happen in the unseen realm. It is always going to be spiritual. X is spiritual. And you can never forget that. You are X. It is unknown. What are you going to do? What are you going to do for you? Because even if someone gave you the answer, even if someone told you the answer, I guarantee you, I know this. And I'm sure you know this in the work that you know, and you know this in the things you do. 99.9% of the people you come in contact with will not do it. They won't. They will not do it. Because we've been taught We've been taught to live in the past. We've been taught to live in the past. We have been taught to stay in the past. We've been taught that if it's been done this way, it's got to keep getting done this way. We've taught our children that. Now they're trying to break us out of that, these young generations. So they've come in and said, F your Thanksgiving. Not that they don't love their families and they don't care about families being together. They said, F your Thanksgiving. We're vegan. We eat vegetables. And by the way, do you know the real history of where that came from? And what are you ultimately celebrating? Is it something you should be celebrating every day? Why do we have to have one day to celebrate something such as being grateful and thankful? And I get it. It serves its purpose and have for a very long time. But it is something for you to begin to start thinking about, to become conscious of. Because remember, experience is only as good as the time you received it. It cannot take you into the future. If you keep only relying on your experience, then you will not experience anything new. So it can only take you so far. Perspective. This is another thing. And even though it is something of the intellectual mind that we like to throw around, everyone gets to have a perspective. We do. And perspectives are like assholes. Everyone got one. And it doesn't mean that the shit is right. And before anyone get their panties or their boxers in a bind, I'm talking to me. I'm talking to me. So I don't want you feel, I already see you over there. You feeling some kind of way. I'm talking to me. Okay? You have to learn how to go beyond your perspective. Your perspective is what's keeping you locked down. Your perspective is what's keeping you in that dark place. Your perspective is what's throwing you off. You got to go beyond the veil, beyond the horizon. You have to go beyond your perspective. That's why sometimes I tell y'all, I don't give a F about your perspective. It's only relevant to the moment you had it. Because aren't you having a new perspective at this precise moment? I am. I don't know about you, but I am. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that perspective. Because when you're open to go beyond your perspective and you allow that energy, that spirit to flow through you, you open up to your superconscious. I will tell you something. Sometimes, a lot of times when I'm up here talking to you guys, I don't know if you imagine, because one time I got an email from a sister and she was saying, oh, you said a couple of words wrong and you said this, and maybe when you go back in your notes before you come on and you talk, you can kind of write these things down. Listen, I don't have no notes. Am I saying things and sometimes words get twisted? Absolutely. Because I'm in between different dimensions as I'm speaking to you. And I'm also allowing energy from the divine to flow in. So, you know, in our world, there's a term for that. And I think growing up, a part of it, they just didn't really do that in my generation, but they called it ADHD. Or they had all of these learning disabilities or a slow learner. They had all of these words for it. A lot of times I get tongue tied. I remember I give this example because this was, I think I received the most requests at that particular time from Planet Remix when I could not, or dyslexic. There you go. That's right. Thank you, Gio, or whatever. They would absolutely, people were just going in on me so hard because I was mispronouncing words and saying different things. And, I'm sitting here and I'm kind of feeling myself in the beginning thinking, I got to say, get these things right. And I need to slow down. I need to, be careful about how I'm saying. And I got to talk a certain way and it's got to sound a certain way. And, I got to do all of this extra stuff. And it just felt very unnatural to me. And I say that because most of my life, I lived that way. I lived that way of trying to get my speech. I told you all about how my father would make us read on Sunday and he would record it and we needed to go back and say it a different way. And yeah, all of these things that our parents do when they are doing their very best to help us and support us and give us the tools they feel that we need at that particular time. But, my thing that came to me was that I don't really feel that I'm from planet Earth, not originally. And I know many of you feel that or may have felt that as well. If not, don't worry about it. So I really can't speak any of the languages here fluently, not any of them. And trust me, I've lived in so many countries, not visited these countries, lived, and it's very different. Anyone who's from another country will tell you it's a difference between coming in for a week or 2 weeks or visiting for 30 days and taking your butt back home and actually living in a different country. I've lived in so many different countries. But anyway, let me get back to the story. So anyway, I was getting all this mail. People was sending me these little, you know how they send you the daily word of the day to learn how to pronounce it, learn how to spell it. I'm like, listen, I got a college degree. I got a couple of college degrees. I'm not illiterate. But when I'm in this flow, I am in these different dimensions and things are different than they are in this 3D dense reality. So I remember the time where I could not for the life of me say Maya Angelou. And I kept saying Angelou, Maya. You just have to hear the show to even get where I am. Part of the reason I don't a lot of times like to come live on camera because I know you can look in my face. I have a look and my family knows that look and people who know me know that look when I'm channeling. It's different. It's very different. It's a different vibe. It's a different look. It's different. It's even different to me. So I'm not possessed by anyone, but it's just the information that is flowing through. It's flowing through and it's flowing in a very authentic and a very natural way for me. Now, I can't speak for other people and how they do their processes, but for me, it's different. But I say all of that to say to you that we are charting and living in some precedented times on the planet. That's very unique. That's very different from anyone else or any other lifetime that we have experienced here on planet Earth. Very different. And so we know sometimes life be lifing. And even if we could come to, sort of the grips with we cause life to be lifing us. Sometimes that is the ultimate riddle of how do I get out of this loop? How do I get out of this cycle? How do I get out of this place? How do I get out of this hold? How do I get out of this moment? This is where our cosmic celestial stars come into play. Times like the equinox, because you have a support system behind you. You have alignments, frequencies, and energy supporting change. That's why the moon cycles are so critical. And every being who's ever been on this planet has utilized their understanding of one, themselves, and how their energetic self and the energetic atmosphere connects together to support them in their quest and their journey on planet Earth. You would be a absolute, and I say this with all due respect, fool to not get assistance when it's right here available for you to receive. So this equinox, this energy is a major support system. Imagine if you get a flat tire in the middle of the night and it is pouring down, raining, and all of a sudden you see a flashing sign that has the AAA number on it and says, all you have to do is call this number and we will send someone to come and support you immediately. For you to say, I'm not going to call the number. It's not going to do anything. Make it make sense. One of the things that my guides and spirits tell me that if I could give a message to those that I work with, and I'm not the only spiritual teacher, many have talked about this, is that humans have a hard time asking for help. It is like a curse word. It's like someone summoning you to the darkest depths, demon part, or admitting to what they do not know and understand. It is like they will not do it. They will not ask for help. They will not ask for help. Something as simple. Now, don't get me wrong. As my mother taught me, there is a way to do anything. I didn't say asking for a handout. I said asking for help. Very different. Because you got to remember, I don't care what state you are in. I don't care what you're lacking. I don't care what you don't have. I don't care what your needs are at this time. You are valuable. You are precious. And there is nothing that could take the place of who you are. And so asking for help means that you are willing to participate in the exchange. Not, I'm just going to sit there and let you do all the work for me. See, I knew when I stepped into my calling, into doing this work, that there were some things that were non-negotiables for me. I'm not talking about other readers. I'm not talking about other spiritual teachers, but there were certain things that were non-negotiable. And one of them was, I'm not getting ready to do all your damn work, because that's not going to serve you. Now, it may serve me, and you would have to pay me very well, because I'm the one doing all the work for you. All you're doing is coming to me with your problems, and I'm just solving them for you, and you leave. So now that makes you a slave to me, because the next time you got a damn problem, you got to come to me. So you all know, and this is not new to me. I'm talking 15 years plus. And even before I was conscious of it, I was giving people homework. Whether it was in my professional career. Yeah, I'm going to train you on how to do this. And then I'm going to give you homework so you can figure it out for yourself. Because we're not victims here. But we are all volunteers here. We volunteered to come here. You are a part of the volunteer nation, because that is currently the only applications planet Earth to date has ever accepted. We're volunteers. No one has ever been forced to come here. And because you are a volunteer, that comes with some perks. It's kind of like having you a spiritual black card. You know what a black card is, right? Y'all know what a black card is? And I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Dante for that super chat donation. Y'all know what a black card is, right? That means it has no limit. Every single one of you came with a black card. Notice they didn't call it the white card. And I'm not talking about Cash App black card. It means it doesn't have a limit. That means you can go in the dollar store and you can pick up something for $1. Or that also means that you can be somewhere, on Rodale Drive. Or you can walk up and purchase you a Maybach or buy you a $18 billion house. There is no limit. You came with a black card. And I need you to remind yourself to pull that black card out. Pull it out. Use the shit. When you need help, say, I need help, and here's my black card. That don't mean you sell your soul. That simply means with this black card that you know that you are not limited to participating in your own life. Help does not mean you're helpless. And it doesn't mean that sometimes we don't have to stand and hold space when those times get tough for others. I'm not talking about that. Again, I have to keep reminding you, because I see some of you reaching behind your back and your panties and your boxes is getting in a bind. And I need you to keep an open mind. I need you to stay inside your physical body. And I need you to stay open to hear. Pull out your black card because it's good. No matter where you travel in this cosmic world, no matter where you go, it's good. It's good. It's showing that you are valuable. It's showing that no matter what the appearance is, see, we get so caught up on the physical. You get so caught up on what the physical is trying to tell you. You get caught up in all the nuances of what other people got going on and what they doing. Forget all that. What are you doing? What are you focused on? Because they're taking care of them. And it's your responsibility to take care of you. I'm not saying don't be your brother or your sister's teacher or a helper or to help each other. But again, we got to quantify what that means. That don't mean I'm at your damn beck and call. That don't mean that you can buy my ass. That don't mean that because you jump that I got to jump with your ass. That don't mean that. That's not what that means. Because sometimes help is hurt. Sometimes help is hurt. You're hurting that person. You're not helping them. What you think is help for them is hurting them. And a lot of times it may be coming out of your own insecurities. And sometimes we have to learn how to stand on our values, stand on our principles. And I don't expect anybody to understand it because this is going to be unique and significant to each of us. But you need to be able to do that. You need to be able to say that you're standing on your values and you need to have some values. You need to have some discipline. You need to have some discipline. Sorry. But you need to have some discipline. You need to let your yes be yes and your no mean no. And you need to learn how to love yourself. You need to learn how to love yourself for real. Like, I'm serious. And loving yourself doesn't mean you excuse your own bullshit. Loving yourself doesn't give you a black card access to go around spreading your trauma on everyone you meet because you can't get your fucking way. It also means that you don't get to just laugh and play in people's face because you feel like you can do it. But it should give you an opportunity to be able to have one, compassion for yourself and compassion for others. And you get to decide. You get to decide what your life is going to be. You get to decide how you're going to live your reality, not your fantasy. Because we all have fantasies, we all have dreams, and we have desires. I'm not talking about that. You get to decide what your day-to-day is going to be. And how long are you going to put that reality into the future, chasing it like a paper chaser? How far in the future are you going to put that? When you can simply embody that and embrace that in the moment of now. You can do it now. And you may not can do it all, but you certainly can do a lot of it. Because all of this starts on the inside. You want to be healed? Then you have to embody what it feels like to be healed. You have to purposely alter your state of being from within, of being healed. And even if it's that one thing you can do that you would do when you're healed, and you say, me getting up, going to work today is me being healed. And even if you can do that for one day, you are shifting, you are changing, but it has to happen on the inside. We're so busy looking outside of our eyes that we forget that that's only showing the manifestation of what's happening on the inside. So happy equinox. Happy equinox, everybody. Happy. Happy equinox. Happy equinox. This is a celebration for you. However you choose to celebrate you. Please, please celebrate you. Celebrate that version of you that you want your life to be in reality. Not in fantasy, but in reality. Celebrate that, embody that, live that, love that, and then share that. Yeah. So there you go. Pretty much, we could have did the Galactic E-Files Volume 4 call. But we're not. But I want to share that with you. Let's get those likes up. We're going to get ready to go to the phone lines. We're going to listen to a little bit of Baby Blue. We're going to do some shots out. I'm going to talk about this upcoming class. I want to give a big shout out